This is Gene Monterestelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 271, originally aired May 17th, 2017. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today, we're going to spend some time talking about and tapping for giving ourselves a little creativity boost so that when we're working on something new or something that is creative, we're going to be in a space that's really going to allow us to do that. Before we jump into the show, just a couple of reminders. First of all, big shout out to all the folks who have supported the Tapping Q&A podcast. If you would like to do that as well, tappingqa.com/support. Secondly, if you'd like to receive our free 10-part guide on how you can use tapping to eliminate self-sabotage, all you need to do is go to tappingqa.com, click on the big blue button. If you happen to be listening to this in the website right now, just go up into the right-hand corner, click on the big blue button there, and we will start sending you that 10-part guide. I've spaced the 10 parts out, so every couple of days you get a new part so that you're not overrun with information. There's tap-alongs, there are scripts, there are instruction, there is all sorts of great information that you can implement right away in a step-by-step fashion so that you can start taking the action that you really want to take. And finally, don't forget, at the Tapping Q&A podcast archive at tappingqandapodcast.com, every single episode that we have ever shared is there, absolutely free of charge. Recently, we've talked about serious illness. We've talked to an acupuncturist about her process. We've talked about letting go of limiting beliefs that are no longer useful, fibromyalgia, weight release, and all sorts of other really great things. They're all free. tappingqandapodcast.com. Go check it out. If there is a topic, if there is someone you want to hear interviewed, because we've interviewed hundreds of people over the history of the podcast, just go there. You will find it. Today's topic comes from suggestions from conversations that I've had with clients, as well as the survey I did back in January from listeners to see what needs to come up. And it was interesting over the course of the last couple of weeks, the number of clients who have wanted to specifically tap for blocks to creativity and getting a creative boost. And this isn't something that off the top of my head, I necessarily would have thought of as a good way to spend our tapping time. But the more that I thought about it and the more time I spent with my clients, I realized it's an absolutely perfect way for us to do this, because the creative process is tricky. Because when we step into any sort of creative process, be it coming up with a new product that you're going to sell, you're naming a book, or even rearranging the way that you're putting the furniture in your office or your house, what you understand is what a good, solid solution is on the other side. Even if you don't know what that solution is, you know what that looks like, you know what that feels like. And when we start to do something creatively and we're trying to come up with those ideas, the first ideas that we come up with are a long way from being good, complete ideas that we are going to execute. And because they are so far away from us having what we actually want, it's really easy for us to have resistance to doing the creative process because it feels as if we're never actually going to get there. And so emotionally, we don't step into it because not getting there is failing. And I don't know about you, but I really don't like being in a situation where I am failing. So we avoid it. I work with lots of my clients on writing things, writing sales copy, writing blog posts, and there are few things more taunting than the blinking cursor inside of a word processor document on a blank page. It's almost like it's flashing at you, reminding you how little information is there. And so when we're worried about the process, when we feel like it needs to come fully formed out of our head, and then if we're in a circumstance that we're going to be sharing this with someone else, we then add this really specific layer over the top of it of now my ideas are going to be judged and they're not perfect and they're not good when I work on them. And so it makes sense that we're not going to step into it. So what we're going to share here is a really simple tap along that you can do before any creative process. Like I said, it's not just for writing, but it could be reorganizing a room, coming up with new ideas, planning a vacation. Anytime you want to get your creative juices going, this is a perfect thing to tap to. In addition to this audio, down below the player on the website for episode 271, if you go to tappingqandapodcast.com, click on that, you will see the written out version of the script. And if you have downloaded the Tapping Q&A app, which is free for both Android and Apple devices, in addition to having the recording for this, if you click on the text section, you will find just the tapping script. So you don't even need to hit play in the future. You can just read it and tap along. So let's spend a few minutes tapping for giving ourselves a creative boost. Tap on the side of the hand. Just take a nice big deep breath for me. Take another nice big deep breath. And just move from tapping point to tapping point in the order that makes the most sense for you, repeating after me. There's a part of me that wants to be creative. There's a part of me that wants to do this task successfully. But there is a part of me that is feeling resistance. There's a part of me that is avoiding action. It is doing this to keep me safe. It is doing this to avoid danger. And on the surface, I know how silly that sounds. Being creative is not dangerous. But this part of me is worried. It is worried that I'm going to waste time. It is worried that I'm not going to come up with good ideas. It is worried that others are going to judge my ideas. It is worried that whatever I come up with isn't going to be good enough. And this is going to be a giant waste of time. And I appreciate this worry. Because there is worry that comes with the creative process. The creative process is uncertain. The creative process is full of unknowns. The creative process is full of bad ideas. The creative process is full of half ideas. And I don't want to waste my time with those. I know what it feels like to get this right. I know what it feels like to have this completed. And that feels so far away. And that feels so impossible in this moment. I give myself permission to recognize the fact creativity is a process. Ideas are not going to spring from my head fully formed. It is going to take a little time. It is going to take a little effort for me to find my way to the ideas that work for me. And the ideas that I come up with first, no one has to see them unless I decide to share it with them. It's okay if they're half ideas. It's okay if they're incomplete ideas. It's even okay if they are bad ideas. Because no one is ever going to see them unless I decide to share them. And so the creative process is safe. It doesn't have to be perfect. Many of the ideas I come up with might be seeds of much better ideas. And I might not have those much better ideas right away. But I know spending time with the process is going to lead to what I need. It is okay if it takes time. It is okay if it slowly unfolds. It is even okay for me to spend time on this problem right now and not come up with a useful answer. There are going to be times in which the creative process is going to involve me working through the unuseful ideas first. And that's okay. Because that is the process. I give myself permission to be easy with myself as I give myself the space to come up with ideas that are useful. I give myself permission to trust myself in this process, knowing that good, useful ideas will come by spending time coming up with them. If I give myself the space that I need and the time that I need, I am going to come up with ideas that even surprise me in how good they are. Nice big deep breath. Just give me a nice big stretch. And so a process like that, you can see what we're doing. We're simply naming the fears and the issues. We're giving them voice. We're sharing why they make sense. And then we're just sharing the opposite point of view. And if we recognize this opposite point of view and just take it a little at a time, then it's going to put us in a space where you're going to be ready to try, because that's what the creative process is about. It's about effort and time and trying it and giving yourself permission to know that it's okay that it's not perfect. There have been times when I've sat down to work on a creative task, like writing something new, And after working on it for 45 minutes, the only conclusion I've come to is that's exactly not how I'm going to do it. And I'm able to get the bad idea out of my system so that when I return to the idea or return to trying to come up with the solution for the idea, it puts me in a position where I've cleared the space of the bad idea, which allows me to look at it in a new and different way. This is a tap along you should go back to again and again. Each time you sit down to do a creative task, take the few minutes it takes to tap through this. Like I said, the script is located below this. If you're looking at this in the website, if you have the Tapping Q&A app, which you can get at tappingqandapodcast.com or in the Google App Store, Android App Store, or the Apple iTunes Store, then not only do you have the audio there, you also have under the text tab the printed out script of this. Make sure you check out our archives at tappingqandapodcast.com. Like I said, we've had some really amazing shows recently. Even if you don't dip back into the over 325 free audios there, just look at the last 5 or 10. There's something that's really useful for you that you're going to be able to implement right away. If you know someone in your life who could use tapping for some creativity boost, please pass this along to them. Don't spam your inbox and send it to every single person in the world. But if you know someone who could use this and who would enjoy this, please be our ambassador. It would really mean the world to me. A number of people in the last couple of weeks have just sent emails to me thanking me for the podcast, and I appreciate it. I'm glad you're listening. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you have a guest idea, if you have a topic idea, please reach out to me. Gene, Gene, at tappingqna.com. If you're listening in the website, just click on the contact link. If you're in the app, if you click on the contact button, you can leave me a voicemail or you can shoot me an email. I love hearing from people just like you. Before sitting down to record this, I got a really amazing voicemail message from something that was of a real encouragement to me. And so I love hearing that stuff. You can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts and Google Music Play Store, in Stitcher, in TuneIn, iHeartRadio, all of those places you can find the show absolutely for free. Any of the places that you listen to the show, if you can leave a rating, if you can leave a review, it would mean a lot to us. It makes it easier for other people to find the show in the future. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli or Tapping Q&A.